Let's go! Justin Fields, are you kidding me? To LSU? Is this even a possibility? Let's talk about this because I've seen it all over social media. Let's first discuss if Justin Fields is better than Myles Brennan, and the answer to that is yes. Even if Fields were to transfer to LSU right now, in the little bit of time he would have to learn the offense, he would be more productive than Myles Brennan because Justin Fields is that daggum good. And yes, that was Ohio State against weaker competition, but just by the eye test, I would take him as the number one quarterback in next year's draft. But that doesn't mean he would actually be the better option over Myles Brennan because football is more than just production. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, you guys, I appreciate the support. Up to 220 subs, that's great. We're going to produce more videos. Shout out to Scarlett. Judah referred her to our channel, so welcome, Scarlett, to the Power Hour community. And Keith had probably the most colorful comment we've had on this channel, and that's really saying something. I just love this. LSU O-line Karens. Like, I never thought Karens would come on this channel, but here we are. Anyway, Justin Fields, okay? Can't get over the Karens thing. Justin Fields, I wouldn't want him over Myles Brennan because of one simple word. Leverage. You see, Justin Fields doesn't need LSU. In fact, Justin Fields doesn't need anybody at the college level because he's already a first-round draft pick. This is a trend that we don't talk a whole lot about in college football. When a player is forced to come back after his sophomore or redshirt freshman year, and they already have a first-round grade, their production tends to decline. Just take a look at LSU. Greedy Williams came back. He didn't need to come back. He was already a first-round prospect, slipped in the draft. Arden Key probably would have been the first or second player overall taken, slipped in the draft. Darius Geis, another example. Leonard Fournette didn't slip in the draft, but his production did decrease. The only player who had similar production and was still drafted high, Devin White. That's the only player I could even think of. So if Justin Fields were to come over to LSU, well, that would be a lateral move for him. Yes, he might want to prove that he can compete at the SEC level, but let's be honest, he doesn't need LSU. His stardom is so high as an elite NFL quarterback prospect. You know, there would be the outside storyline about what if he gets injured? What if this happens? What if this happens? And that can overtake a locker room. Myles Brennan, he needs LSU. He's worked his tail off to get to this opportunity. Spent 4 years throwing to a lot of the players he's going to be throwing to next year to get to this point. The locker room loves Myles Brennan. They love the way he actually plays the game. They love his arm. They love his team-first mentality. The fact that he didn't transfer. The entire state is behind him with his Louisiana ties. And this would be very off-brand for Ed Orgeron to hand the keys to the offense to someone else that just kind of swooped on in. Remember, Orgeron is a team-first, Louisiana through and through, one team, one heartbeat kind of guy. And once again, this is not me saying Justin Fields is not that. It's just that goes against what Ed Orgeron has actually built this program on. And if Fields were to come to LSU and even just be a backup, well, if Myles Brennan kind of sort of struggled at first, everybody would be screaming, why are we playing the guy that's an NFL millionaire? You don't want that overhanging in your locker room. And it could split apart a team, quarterback battles such as that. In fact, Justin Fields should have been the starter over Jake Fromm they didn't make that decision. It ended up splitting their locker room, and Georgia's offense is hurt because of that. So it puts you in a bigger bind than you normally would be in if you're Ed Orgeron and Steve Ensminger and the LSU offense as a whole. Let's be honest, Jamar Chase's numbers are going to fall off a little bit. That doesn't mean he's not going to be productive. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a superstar, but history tells us that's what's going to happen. In fact, I dedicated an entire episode to this very idea. Jamar Chase and anybody else that has a first-round grade as an underclassman should be allowed to go to the NFL draft, especially with what we know about injuries in football, the way the rookie salary cap works. It's all about getting that second contract. Yeah, all these LSU players and just stars in general should be allowed to leave when they want to leave. So, to be clear, yes, Myles Brennan is not as good as Justin Fields. The LSU offense would be better with Justin Fields as its quarterback. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is actually better for the team. And I get it. Joe Burrow was an Ohio State transfer. But when Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State to LSU, he wasn't Joe Burrow. He was a guy hungry for the opportunity to play anywhere. And even after 2018, Joe Burrow was just another guy. He needed LSU. Ed Orgeron's one of the best coaches in college football, but, his fit with LSU is perfect. He needs LSU. Justin Fields doesn't need LSU, and that can sometimes weigh heavy on a football team. Boom! Let's have a discussion in the comments section. Do you believe Justin Fields should come to LSU? And if he were to come to LSU, would you start him over Myles Brennan? Let me know in the comments section below. Sports Gems on YouTube. Don't forget, we're giving away that Odell Beckham Jr. autographed photo. So get on over to Sports Gems, watch our videos, subscribe to the channel, and guess what? You're automatically entered to win that piece of history. And of course, we're on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Check us out there. But once again, tag people, share the video, and let's build this LSU community. Let's go! Boom, boom, boom.